Hey guys, what's up? We're back again for another one. Oh no. So basically this time around, probably gonna get a little bit deeper into it. Because you guys actually don't really know who I am. So I'm gonna tell you. I'm a very, very passionate person. Sometimes I feel like I can be too intensely passionate. It's actually really interesting. I was listening to, you're going to hear me talk about her a lot because she's an absolute inspiration to me. Her name's Brene Brown. She's actually from Texas, and she is just the coolest woman ever. And I listen to her podcasts every single day, and she's so cool. I love her. And she was talking about how sometimes she can get a little too intense with her passion, in the sense where if she has an idea, she's going to go for it. And she's going to, whoever's around her, she's going to start delegating, and she's going to start, talking about how she wants to do it, why she wants to do it, just full blast. And so I relate to that a lot. And I really feel like that is a strong basis of my personality, is that I am really, really passionate. I've even described it in the past as I get this feeling in my chest, and it gets tight, and then it gets big, and then it creeps into my hands, and I just feel like ferociously typing anything and everything that's going on in my head. Because I got a lot going on up here all the time. I have a lot of ideas, I have a lot of thoughts and things like that. And so that's actually another reason why this podcast is the thing that it is it's almost like an outlet for me to give these ideas to other people, because I realize some people aren't as good at articulating their ideas. But then when somebody articulates it for them, they get excited or something clicks for them. So that's kind of what I really, really want to do. And I feel like that's something that I'm good at, is that if someone talks to me about something they're passionate about, I can say, hey, look at what you did in this passion, or look at what, things like that. And then they light up and they get so excited. And then that same passion that I feel, I see happening in that other person. And it's the coolest thing ever. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, is just passion. And how, first off, I didn't really find my passion until this year, actually. My initial, so I talked briefly on this earlier, but my initial ambitions were I was going to be a doctor. I really, 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 really wanted to be a doctor. Like, you could ask anybody. I was doing everything under the sun to build myself a good foundation of applying to medical school. In high school, I had done clinical rotations. I got my EKG license, which is the heart monitor that measures, all the things. Anyways. And I got my certified nursing assistant certification. Certified nursing, yeah. I did that all in high school. I competed in medical competitions. I ran blood drives. I did everything in high school. And then once I got to college, I, studied biology, and I went and shadowed a bunch of doctors during my time in college as well. And I took on a lot of leadership positions. I was president of one club. And then I participated in a few other clubs and some head positions and things. And I remember always going into my pre-med advisor's office, and I was always telling him everything that I was doing. And I said, okay, how's it looking for medical school? And he literally told me, he said, you're like the poster child right now. I didn't believe him. I was like, no, you're lying, because I wasn't top of my class. I wasn't making all A's. Like, I wasn't making hundreds left and right. And so I didn't really take his praise in. I just said, no, I'm not doing enough. I need to keep on going. So I was working really hard because I believed that was my passion. and I was going to do everything and anything to achieve it. So I eventually burnt out, and that burnout was very hard. I remember the exact moment that I felt that burnout. I was sitting in a place at UNT called the Org Space. That's where all the organizations will come and join together. I was sitting there on the couch, and I had my laptop in front of me. I opened it, and the room spun. I couldn't even place my hands onto the keyboard because my mind was just saying, I'm done. Like, please, no more. It was just such a stark contrast from what I was used to. I was always the first one to be doing the assignment. I was always the one studying 24/7. I was always the one, I was doing things to get it done despite how I felt. But this time the feelings were so overwhelming that I couldn't open my laptop. That was really hard because that was not my personality. And that's when things started to change. And I remember whenever I'd go to coffee shops to study, I did not feel that drive anymore. I just felt exhausted. I just felt burnt out. I was still journaling at this time, and I remember specifically writing a note that the fire in my chest had dwindled down to a burning heap of ash, and there was nothing there anymore. And that was really difficult because in my head, I'm thinking, how am I going to finish this out if I'm already washed up now? And I was thinking, what am I going to do? And so, of course, I tried to carry on. I was like, okay, you know what? We're just going to keep on going, keep on chugging forward. And I really, really tried. I remember sitting inside my organic chemistry class, and I couldn't focus on the content. My feet were just, going miles an hour. My heart started to go, and then the tears started to fall. And I had to walk out in the middle of the class because I was going to lose it just from the overwhelming anxiety, which I didn't realize that's what it was at the time. I just thought I was being dramatic. I don't know. I had no idea what was going on because it was outside of my character, and I'd never experienced something like this. And so eventually I had actually gone to therapy, and the therapist was talking about how I was writing myself too hard, and that I needed a break, and that I needed to drop some classes. That was devastating to hear. That was really devastating to hear. You have to drop some classes, because in my mind, it wasn't, I'm doing this to get better for my own health. It was, you have failed. You're not smart enough for the field that you want to go into, and you obviously can't handle it. That's what was playing in my mind. It wasn't that I was actually doing too much and I needed to calm down. It was, again, the whole aspect of you're not enough, you didn't win. And so that was just difficult because I felt like everything that I'd done was just falling away. And all the effort that I put in, now I'm taking steps backward. And that was very, very, very upsetting. Well, I had to drop the classes because I physically could not go to the class and I physically could not make myself do the assignments. So I had to drop them. And that was also very difficult because I had to tell my family. And I am the firstborn in my family. So I have a lot of people looking up to me. I even had family members who were always really interested in seeing what I did because I was I was first grandchild, first everything. So I felt like I was letting them down. I felt like, oh, they're going to be disappointed in me and I'm not going to be the successful person that they perceived me to be. So I felt like I was going to be rejected. And that wasn't the case, of course. They told me, you need to do what's best for you, of course, But again, it was just all that negative self-talk. It was just a lot. And so my friends, they helped me a lot, because there are nights where I would just be so overwhelmingly upset, because there are other things going on as well. And so it was just emotionally a really, really tough time. And it was just because so actually something in one of the podcasts that one of our guests had talked about was being in your lane. I was not in my lane. I was playing to these expectations of what success looks like. My envisionment of success was being the smartest person in the room, being the most knowledgeable, and being the top of the class, or getting all A's. Because, like I was mentioning before, we were brought, at least I was kind of brought up in an environment where academics got you respect. Knowledge got you respect. If you knew what you were talking about, people would listen. And if you didn't make mistakes, people would listen. Obviously, that's not the culture that is being talked about now, which I'm so grateful for. And the culture that I'm embracing now is mistakes, because mistakes make us who we are. And beforehand, the burnout I saw as a failure, but now I do not see that as a failure. I see that as happening at the exact right moment of my life to put me into the position that I am now. And that burnout was hard. It was very hard mentally, but it was probably the best thing that had ever happened to me, because after the burnout, whenever I dropped those science courses, actually the pandemic had hit right after that. So I had to go home, and I had to do school from home, which was easier, honestly, because I didn't have to get up. I could do it from my room, and I could do it at my own pace, and that was great. And so a lot of activities had been removed from my life as well. So actually, after the burnout, all of our lives came to a standstill. And honestly, that freaked me out, because, again, like I was saying, was beforehand, I was doing everything under the sun to make sure that I was going to have a successful career. Well, the pandemic caused me to self-reflect a lot. And that self-reflection strengthened me into who I am now. It prepared me for studying abroad, because I later on, after the pandemic, during the pandemic, I went and studied abroad. That was really crazy. But I would say that's like the second phase to my journey of becoming who I am now. It was like Act 1, burnout, and then Act 2, studying abroad and losing my mind in another country. And that was a whole other challenge that was really difficult, because I was uprooted from my support system. Whenever I was going through my burnout, I had my family with me, and I had my bestest friends with me. So they really, really helped alleviate a lot of those negative thoughts that I was having on myself. Well, whenever I went to study abroad in England, holy moly, I had to learn to rely on myself. And that was like the second part. The first part was realizing, okay, I need to rethink what I'm doing with my life, or how I'm living my life, because if I keep living it this way, I'm going to literally make myself sick with anxiety and just negativity. And so whenever I went to study abroad in England, that's what I started to realize, a lot of my potentials. I mean, of course, when I was over there, my anxiety was very prevalent, but because I was in another country, I was by myself, I was a little bit more isolated, and it was like it was like being that new kid at school again, where you moved away and then you're in a town that you don't know with a bunch of people that you've never met who don't know who you are. So you have to completely reestablish your identity. And that was scary, especially again in like a whole other culture. But basically, these things were so essential. These experiences were so essential to developing my passion. And that's the thing, is that a lot of people ask me, where do you get your passion and your drive from? How did you come about this? There is a price with it, at least in my personal experience, is you got to make some hard decisions and you got to go through some hard things to get to certain points in your life. Sometimes some people's passions come very easily and they don't have to go through anything. But personally for me, I had to backtrack before I found my true calling and my true passion. And my true calling and true passion is nowhere near related biology, which was actually another scary thing that I had to become comfortable with, was that since 9th grade in high school, I was working my ass off, going all the way, doing everything to build up my credibility in the medical field. And previously I thought, okay, I did all that for nothing, which isn't true. All of that was actually essential to doing what I'm doing now. Science is actually a really great field because it taught me a lot. It formulated how I thought about things. And so none of that was to waste. It was every experience I've had has contributed to now. So, I mean, for example, in high school, I did theater. A lot of those things in theater has helped me with this whole podcasting thing right now. A lot of things within science has helped me learn how to ask questions with people. It's made me very analytical. It's made me very curious, and so no experience is wasted. No experience is negative. I mean, you can label it negative, but it's completely subjective. I could say my burnout was negative. I could say that my experience in England was negative, but I don't see it that way. I see all of those, what people would normally say negative, as experiences that promoted my growth. Because every time I go through a struggle, I feel uplifted afterwards. Sometimes I really wish that I was in a struggle, because afterwards I've changed so much. It's like, man, all right, bring on the next challenge. Like, let's do it. Of course, in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, this sucks, take it away. But, afterwards, it's like, okay, that was good. I learned this, and I'm a better person after it. And so that's the kind of wisdom that I've gained from both of those experiences back to back. And how could I be upset with it, because it led me to my passion? So I keep saying led me to my passion, and I still haven't really talked about what my passion is. It is helping other people realize their potentials. It's helping other people get as excited and inspired and motivated by their goals and aspirations and things like that, and helping them work on their mindset to be more positive, to think, okay, how has this experience benefited me? How has X, Y, and Z contributed to who I am? I want others to embrace who they are, because once you embrace who you are, that's when the confidence spikes. I was telling somebody else earlier that I didn't truly have confidence until August of this year, actually. Beforehand, I second-guessed myself. I always compared myself to other people. I always set myself against someone else and said, okay, am I doing the right thing? But the second I started listening to myself and not being afraid to fail, it has landed me in so many incredible opportunities. it has led me to meet some of the most incredible people. I mean, right now, the place that I work, I love, and I will genuinely say love, every single one of those people that work there, because they all are so passionate, and it's so refreshing to see how they interact with students, how they interact with you, how they interact with our team members, and it's so positive, and it's so, and I never would have gone into that workspace if I hadn't left behind the idea that I was going to be a doctor. Instead, I took on the mindset of, okay, whatever opportunity comes, I'll take it. That has been the best thing I've ever done for myself, is embracing the unknown. And at first it's scary, but then it gets intoxicating. It gets addicting. Not intoxicating, addicting. Because it's the rush. Of course I get scared every once in a while, but it's essential. Embracing the unknown is essential to fueling your passion. Letting go of expectations, letting go of standards, letting go of what other people think about you, letting go of people's opinions of how you should live your life. That helped fuel my drive, my passion to be where I am, to do what I want to do. And yeah, it's really crazy. And I those experiences have made me into who I am. And I am so open to embracing more. And I know that more are going to come because I'm only 22, and given that, so one of our other guests talked about how their life changed within a split-second decision. And that's the other thing, is embracing the now. That is also essential to fueling your passion. So, yeah, that's what I got to say about that. So, I can't wait to, keep talking about a lot of these subjects with other people and finding out what their experiences were to fuel their passion, or what life lessons they've learned. But that's a little bit of my life lesson, or life experiences, I should say, with how I got to where I am. And for the future, man, I don't know. If I'm going to be really crazy with dreams, I would say that my dream is to write a book. My dream is to start an organization where it empowers other people to be who they are and to be in their lane of their strength. Because once you start writing your strengths, or noticing what you're good at and taking those opportunities that fall within that, oh my gosh, you could do amazing things. And that's what I noticed, is that once I started doing what I was actually good at and embracing what I was good at, I became instantly happier. I became more confident. I became just happy in general. And so that's why I'm finishing my biology degree, but I'm not going into biology. I'm definitely probably going to do something with getting out into the community, getting out and helping other people realize their potentials. So thank you guys so much for listening. That was a long one, but you know what? I'm really glad that I got to share that with you guys. So until next time, yeah, cool. That's it. Bye.